Hey guys, what's going on? So we're here for the 2023 Herkimer County Fair Friday Night Demolition Derby. We're going to be starting here with the Best of Show and the Prelude. And right up front here, I'm going to get right into this thing, is a late 90s, early 2000s Buick Park Avenue. This is all Best of Show, like I said. Behind that, we got a newer Honda Civic. Big old wheels on the back of that thing. I'd be worried about that blocking up pretty quick. Got a newer Volkswagen here. Another Volkswagen Jetta. We'll see how these cars do. I know the older ones were pretty stout, so we'll see if that does as well. Got a Nissan Altima here. These are pretty decent cars. Up front is pretty tough and back is pretty tough, but the problem is they have issues, I think, with the transmission, but I could be wrong on that. They're CVT transmissions. Got a Nissan Sentra behind that. These I've seen pretty decent, do okay, I should say, not decent, but they've done okay. I think they handle heat pretty darn well. The racks, as long as they're this one looks a little on the rotten side, so we'll see how that back end does. But generally, when they're clean, they got a nice back bumper on there. They tend to fold up, I believe, on these Nissans. Got an Oldsmobile right here. This is it's gonna be interesting to see. I haven't seen one of these in quite some time. This is essentially the same thing as a Buick Century. This actually might be a let's see, what is this, an 88? Something like that. This is definitely an older vehicle, probably 85-ish. So probably the oldest car that's going to run today, other than the full-size cars. I know there's a few old-size or full-size cars that are pretty old. Got a Chevrolet HHR right here. Said just as, I mean, they're pretty darn good, but the problem is that they have aluminum suspension on them, and that's what usually takes them out. But the front frames are okay, back frames are obviously good. It's built like a PT Cruiser in the back, so we're going to skip over to full-size in the row over there. I believe that's Heat 2 or Heat 1. Got a Ford Crown Victoria right here. Grand Marquis this is. This is a Grand Marquis. In front of that, we got a teammate of his in a Honda Civic. In front of that Civic, we got a Dodge Neon. Working on it right now. Yeah, it's been a while since I've even seen a Dodge Neon in the Derby. At least that I can recall. At least this is even older. This, I believe, is it is a Dodge Neon, but it is definitely an older Neon there. Got an Impala right here. A pretty mean-looking bumper on the front. Now, I've been told this has a 3900 in it, which I don't believe I've seen the 3900 before. In front of that, we got a Buick Century. We're gonna be looking out for this one tonight. I think this one's gonna do pretty well. Got a pretty well-built car here. Got got stacks through the hood. It's 3100, so they usually handle heat okay. This one, I'm told, is gonna be a pretty good car here tonight. I got a Honda Accord right here, and it's these front frames are always pretty good. The back frames are also pretty decent. They've been in quicker than the Toyota Camrys do, which right in front of that is a Toyota Camry. The front frames on those, though, I believe are better than these front frames, but it's a Toyota, so it's just going to do well anyway, probably. So in front of that Buick Century over there, we got a Subaru Outback. And to the right of that, we have an older, I believe this to be oh shoot, oh, it is a Chevy. I was going to say it was a Chevy, but I didn't want to be wrong. Is that an old Reese? Oh, and it's Impala. It's an Impala. Okay. All right. Behind that, we got an older. This is something I'm not going to know. This is older, like 70s. I believe this car actually ran here last year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. We'll see how that holds up. Behind that, we got some old iron here. Holy cow. We got a big old, what is this? I don't even know what this thing is. This is the problem with me in full size. I just don't know enough. And I know I do recognize it. But either way, it's going to be an interesting full-size heat tonight. I think we got a lot of old cars here. A lot of 70s old iron. We got a coupe right here, another GM product. And back here, if I can cut across somewhere. Excuse me, guys. Just cut across here. This car ran last night in the full size. Won the full size last night. Behind that we got a Malibu, which I'm assuming is running with him. Interesting how they're combining the full size and the compacts. I don't know if I'd do it if I ran a demolition derby, but that's the way they're doing it here in Herkimer. So it is what it is. Got a V6 under the hood of this Toyota Camry. This obviously the desirable Toyota Camrys, the 92 through 01. I should say more desirable. Even the newer gens are pretty desirable because they have a steel suspension in the front and in the back. Got a Honda Accord right here, coupe. Once again, good front ends. Got to watch out for that front suspension. Backs are pretty tough on them. Got a Cadillac. What is this? DTS, I believe this is. That or DeVille. I mean, same thing basically. So I don't know. It doesn't have the name plaque anymore, but I believe this actually is a DTS. But I could be wrong on that. But it's either way, it's a Buick LeSabre underneath. So pretty tough, other than the, once again, aluminum spindles. That's something you're going to see on all newer cars, is those aluminum spindles and aluminum suspension parts. Got a Volvo right here, older style Volvo. We saw a newer style Volvo last night, and it won its heat, I believe, if I remember correctly, 360. Right here we got a Nissan Versa. Here's the Honda Civic that ran last night. Coupe. Man, I can't believe how well this back end held up. He had a lot of shots to the back of this car, and must have been a pretty decently clean car in the back. These are pretty decent cars in the back. You can see all the extra bracing and stuff like that. Of course, it took the heat because it's a Honda, but back behind that we have a Mercury Sable. This has the this is the dual overhead cam. This is the 24 valve Duratec motor, but it's a pretty clean unit, not too bad. Floor is only a little bit gone on that side. Mine was completely gone. But these back ends, I think I like the Mercury Sables more because they have this bigger, they don't have that window in the middle like the Tauruses do. They have just a big pillar, which helps them. Behind that we have a Chrysler PT Cruiser, very bone stock from what I'm told. A full size pulling up there, but I'll get them in just a minute. Got a Chevrolet Malibu with the plastic bumper taken off, just the back bracing of that. Got a Ford Fusion behind that. By the way, this is a team. Right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Normal for Herkimer once again. Got a Ford Fusion. These are pretty decent cars. I mean, if you look at this front frame, it's a rather large frame if you look here. Got a well used up Impala right there. Man, we'll take a look at that in just a minute here. Got a Buick Lucerne right here. Same thing as the LeSabre underneath. A little bit different on the subframe, but once again, pretty beefy cars in the back, pretty beefy in the front, not too bad other than that aluminum suspension once again. It looks like another car pulled up over here while we were doing the Prelude. Got that Cadillac Eldorado from last night. It didn't last too long. We'll see if he does better tonight. Got a Volkswagen Jetta, once again, newer style. These are going really cheap around here, so I'm not surprised to be seeing them. Got a Honda Accord. Behind that, this is the 90s Honda Accord, which is pretty desirable. This is the early 90s, I should say. Early to mid 90s. And behind that, we got a Chevrolet Malibu. Now this heat, I don't know what heat this is supposed to be, but we'll go ahead and take a look at that. I'll probably last, actually. We're gonna make our way back up to the front here and just work our way back. But like I said, always at Herkimer, bone stock. A little bit more built as far as, I noticed more in-car gas tanks and stuff like that than a lot of different other places.
Driver's meeting is done. Whatever goes on in that shooting, from here out, that's it. No right down the corner, without the roof.
That's an interesting driver's meeting. Got a Mercury Grand Marquis, Workaround Victoria, same thing. All three of these cars, full-size heat, all the same Panther platform. Chevrolet Cavalier first here in heat 7. Behind that we got a Ford Focus or Fiesta. Oh no, this is the Fiesta right here. Oh, there it is, Fiesta. Be interesting. This is quite a newer car. See how that holds up. I bet the back end's going to be pretty beefy. They do a lot more reinforcing the back end nowadays with these newer cars. Honda Civic behind that. Fiesta. Once again, cage, gas tank, battery in car. A little bit more built. Here, this is actually a car I'm rather familiar with. That's because we used to own this car. This is a 2006 Buick LaCrosse. It's rather clean. This is actually my brother's old car. So, be interesting to see how this thing holds up. It's got the 3.6 underneath the hood. This is actually a low mileage 3.6 right here. And just a secret, because we've worked in this thing before, I know that one of these is not an aluminum spindle. I can't remember whether it was this side or that side. It got in an accident and they put a cop car spindle on it. Don't know why, but they did. And we'll see how that thing holds up. It's still pretty solid in the back, not too bad. Huh. Behind that we got a Chevrolet Impala that's pretty well used up. Whoa, look at that floor. Holy cow. Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I would have ran that again, but he's going to be out there just probably having fun. Going to send it. Back here, we got some pre-brands from last night here. And right up front here, we got a pre-brand from last night, Toyota Corolla. Front end's still real clean on this unit. Got mostly back end damage on that one. Got a Volvo behind that. This one did real well last night, a lot of hard hits. And I don't know if it's the same driver for tonight, but if it is, I'm sure he's going to be trying to put on a show with his back end again. We'll see. Right behind that, we got another car that was in that heat against the Volvo. Actually, this Volvo hit the back of this Cobalt. I think it was only once that this Cobalt got hit by that Volvo, and you can see just how much damage it did here. Very, very bent here. And he's back again, so we'll see how he holds up. I mean, that back end's already pretty badly bent, so he's probably going to be trying to use the front more, or at least try to use that back corner there. Behind that, I believe this is a, I don't want to say it's a Nissan or a Mazda. It's one of the two. Can't tell just by based off looking in here, but somebody will tell me that, or I'll figure it out eventually. Let me look at the front frame here. I'll tell you what, that almost looks like a Ford frame, but I don't think this is a Ford. I don't know, we'll have to see. Don't know. Too new. That's the problem. Too new. Got a Chevrolet Impala with the 3.6. Once again, we're seeing more of that 3.6 coming in. Welded doors? I didn't know they were allowed to do that here. Okay. So we got, but the gas tank is underneath the car still. That's an interesting choice. I would have rather have chained the doors and kept the gas tank inside. Got the battery box over there on the floor. Behind that we have a Honda Accord. Once again, one of those mid-90s Honda Accords. Pretty beefy cars up front. Behind that we got a Ford Fusion from last night. See if, I believe this is out of Heat 1, if I'm not mistaken. And he's going to be off to finish this thing tonight, hopefully. I believe Cameron Ritten would be the driver of that car. And behind that, we have a, oh, look at the size. Is this a Kia Rondo? Yeah, it is. Yeah, there you go. So Kia Rondo, they have a very unique, huge window from here. I bet the visibility out of this thing's pretty darn good. But a lot of trunk there to use, and it looks pretty tough because as soon as that starts to bend, it hits the strut tower casing. So, I mean, man, I bet that back end's not too bad. And looks like it's already been pre-ran once. I don't think that was here last night, but front frame, you know, it's looks okay. Wish the subframe was a little bit more forward there, but that is what it is. We'll see how it holds up. I know those Kias and Hyundais do hold heat pretty well. Got a Chevrolet Caprice currently undergoing inspection over there, but that is it, I believe, for all the cars here. I'm very interested to see how that LaCrosse does. And a few other cars here, including that Buick Century I mentioned earlier. Pretty well built car. So stay tuned, guys. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Track should be okay. It did downpour here overnight and a little earlier today, so we'll see how the track is, but let's hope for a good show. Alrighty, guys, stay tuned. Goodbye, everybody.